All right. It is 2026. That means it's time to go over all my favorite reads of 2025. My top 10, let's say. So what do you think the odds are that I just have 10 books here on my desk?
Absolutely zero. My question is, what are the odds?
You have no faith.
What are the odds that it took you like a combined total fewer than, I'm going to say 6 hours to mull this list over and really feel good about it?
Oh, it's way over 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's way over 6 hours. Welcome back to the channel. My name is John Minton. That right there is my literary wingman, the best producer on BookTube, Little Jakey Two Shelves. My little chull of happiness. You're here to keep me in line because these are, I'm not going to say my top 10. I'm going to say my 10 fave reads, but this is BookTube. I do break the rules. I do have more than 10, but I think you're really going to like the way I break the rules.
Now, ranked or unranked?
I'm not really doing ranked, but I'm just really doing, these are the 10 reads this past year that really stuck with me, that really thrilled me, that really made me stop and think, that really made me appreciate the ability of these writers to take me somewhere, deposit me into a different world, a different state of mind, maybe my own past, really spin a yarn, really make me see the potential of story. These 10 really did that.
Now, at first I thought going into this, I'm going to have absolutely zero impact on this video whatsoever because it's just your list. But yeah, here's what I'm thinking. As we're going, this is kind of a mood reading year for me. If you give me one and tell me why you like it, how it hit you, I may or may not add it to my list here, and we'll see how much damage you can do to my TBR for the year.
Let's see how much damage I can do. You know, some of these might be down the road in a series here or there, so there may not be a lot here.
But maybe you can convince me to start the series. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. But I will say this. I do think when it comes time, you're going to like the way I broke the rules here to have more than 10 books.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm banking that you will.
Number 10. Let's find out.
All right. This is the perfect example of why we don't do this at the end of 2025 like so many people do. We wait until the beginning of 2026 because this is a book that I read in the last week of December 2025 and it absolutely makes my list. This is Grave Empire by Richard Swan. This is book one of the Great Silence trilogy. This follows the Empire of the Wolf trilogy by Mr. Richard Swan. This takes place about 200 years after that trilogy. And what an amazing job he does of taking all the seeds that he planted, all the things that he laid out and started, all the plates he got on sticks beginning to spin in that first trilogy in world building, and just leapt even further with this second trilogy. This is a reality that not only does the story play out in the physical realm, but it also plays out in that spiritual, metaphysical realm as well. And it's just parallel stories going on. And this does everything you want a first book to do. It reinvests you. It reintroduces you to the world. It shows you these characters that are coming together to may be able to stave off something coming their way that they don't quite even understand after the happenings from the first trilogy into this one. And they're complex characters. They don't all wear white hats, black hats. A little bit of both here for everybody, but you still can't help rooting for some and loving to hate others. And by the end of this book one, the stakes are so high. The plot is driving into such a dire neighborhood. These characters are stretched to their absolute limit. It just leaves you breathlessly waiting for book two. I don't even want to say what the story is here. I will say the best setting I've read in an epic fantasy, because this underwater city that we get to go to, that we get to visit, is just amazing. So pick up Empire of the Wolf if you haven't yet. If you have, immediately go to the Great Silence trilogy. Steel Gods will be out very beginning of this year. That's book two, and I cannot wait for it. this was a read at the end of the year that absolutely catapulted itself onto this list.
Now, if I remember correctly, I don't remember the format that we did this in, but surely we did like a top 10 books you read last year. I think some form of Empire of the Wolf was on there. Had to be.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So cool that like the sequel version of it squeaked it in right in the last few days of the year.
I think I even like the sequel version. I mean, of course,
it sounds
in
like
this
you like
world,
it more.
like I say, the spiritual and the physical, right, in parallel. So we've got those cosmic horror vibes going on that are my jam. This even leans into it way more than the first trilogy, right from the jump. So I just ate it up with a spoon. So much fun. Cannot wait for book 2.
Yeah. Complex characters fighting off an enemy they don't fully understand sounds like that's a John Reed. I can see why that made the list.
Coming in at number 9. This is a little bit different. A little bit of a different pick here for me.
Okay.
And we're going from the end of the year kind of all the way back to the very beginning, because it was very early in 2025 that I started the year off with Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. This is kind of a historical fiction, bit of a comedy as well, but a very, very dark comedy. This is during the Peloponnesian War, and there's a lot of prisoners, and those prisoners are like put down into this quarry, and they're just being left there. And our two hapless main characters here get the idea, they're lovers of theater, lovers of story. They get the idea that they're going to enact some plays down there and use these prisoners as actors and players. And from there, we just get to start looking at myth and story and the transcendency of art and what art can mean to someone, even at the most horrible circumstances of a life lived. It just did this so well, and at the same time brought some laughs here and there. And these, again, complex characters that you don't just like immediately, but you cannot help but laugh at them. You cannot help but go along this journey with them. And this was just, and a quick read as well, but there's so much cathartic pathos by the end of these prisoners and what happens. And oftentimes in theater, the stories that are worth telling are not what happens when that show night goes perfectly well, but the stories that are worth telling are when that show night goes horribly wrong. And you get the feeling as they're going through rehearsals and they're working with these prisoners and they're starting to care for them and they're starting to understand what story and art can mean to anyone and everyone, not just themselves, but their mortal enemies. You start to understand this is probably all going to end in tears, and you just get closer and closer and closer, and you can't look away, even though you have to see what happens. But I will say there's still, all throughout this, little glimmerings of hope. It's just a beautiful, beautiful book.
That one, I think I'm going to add to my list to try out, because I feel like I've been missing some notes of comedy in my reading. I'd like to see some of that.
Oh, there's got some laugh out loud lines here that I think you would really enjoy.
And I remember when you read that one, I think it was a buddy read you did with a group of people.
Yeah, I think it was me and Mom and Alan at Library of Alexandria.
That's right. That's what it was. And I remember seeing like Alan describing what that book was and immediately going that there's not even a question in my mind. Dad's going to love that book.
Yeah, I did love it. I did love it. And so that absolutely makes my list.
Now, number 8.
A little bit of a different choice for me again.
Okay, we're off the beaten path. I like it.
We're going off the beaten path and kind of staying there. Number 8 is All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy.
Interesting. I kind of knew this was going to be on there, but excited to see it nonetheless.
This is that book that, whether I realized it or not, it took me home. It took me back to Texas, where we come from. And it's beautiful. It's mystical. McCarthy is a true poet in a way, but at the same time, he doesn't shy away from the brutality of life. This young character that we're following here, he starts to feel the squeeze of civilization. He starts to feel the squeeze of family coming into him. How is he going to leave a mark? How is he going to make a name as it starts at his grandfather's funeral, and what's left for him to do? And he might have to go a bit further into the wild country to leave that mark. And as he gets into that wild country, followed by some friends and people he meets along the way, how will it change him? What will he learn about the world? What will he learn about himself? What will he have to endure? And in that enduring, what will he learn about himself and the people around him? These will all leave indelible marks on him, as well as the land itself. And the descriptions of the time passing, the land, the scenery, life in it, it's all done with this amazing, brutal poetry that just strikes you as real. You will, if you come from this place, it just has that ring of truth to it that you cannot escape, because it'll just take you right back to that place. And also, it's a beautiful examination of the reflection of life and artifice of life, and the dichotomy of those two things and how they kind of come together in a life lived. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. I had the best time with this. I had a great time. Didn't have to get on a plane or buy a ticket. Had a great time going home.
Really? I know that that's special to you because I don't think that's what you expected from that book. And it was cool that you got it.
Number 7 is War Host of Vastmark by Janny Wirtz. Now, this says The Ships of Merrier, but this is kind of 2 books in one. So I did love The Ships of Merrier. I've loved every book in the Wars of Light and Shadow so far, but War Host of Vastmark stands out as my favorite until it's overtaken as we go further into the Wars of Light and Shadow. But this one, this series starts out and then it gets to this point where I was just, and from book 1, I know Janny is not going to look away from the cost of conflict. And as this journey of these two brothers gets more and more and more complex and dire and tragic, it's all going to build up and end in this feud just pushes things to the absolute nth degree level of fierce conflict. And then what is the cost of that conflict? And then how do our characters move forward after this, after paying that cost? I don't want to say too much because, again, this is a book down the way in a series, an amazing series. And the prose is so beautiful, so meticulous, so well done, so done with every word is layered in with a purpose. And it builds this amazing cathedral around you. And it's transportive in a way that I find not a lot of epic fantasy is sometimes for me. The words by themselves, when she starts to describe these magical happenings, when she starts to describe the way the magic travels across this world and what it does and what it can do, it truly strikes you as something otherworldly and something phenomenal and something that is unexplainable. But at the same time, it operates within the rules of the world that she is so meticulously building. It's truly an amazing feat that she does there. And the prose just lifts you out of your chair, lifts you up and takes you somewhere else and deposits you there as an amazing audience member to this feud that just grows and grows and grows in intensity and tragedy. And can't wait to continue with the series. So far for me, War Host of Vastmark is my favorite read of the series.
I mean, you know I'm picking that up this year.
No, when you get there, I know you get, yeah. I mean...
Whether you tell me to or not, like one of my most excited things about this year for me is that I get to get back to Wars of Light and Shadow.
You have just done book 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for you to get into the next couple books, because how it grows and expands from there is it's hard to describe. Absolutely hard to describe.
Words cannot describe how excited I am to get back to it.
All right. What number are we at?
I believe you're at number 6.
6. At number 6, I got to throw in Dead House Gates by Stephen Erickson. This is book 2 in Malazan Book of the Fallen, and this is one of those books in the beginning, much like Gardens of the Moon was for me. I found it uncomfortable. It was like a sweater that didn't fit, and I was fighting against it. How do all of these disparate threads pull together? How does it come and tell a story that is that I can sink my teeth into. I have amazing moments, but all of these moments, how do they line up and start to tell a story? And then when I started to let go, when I just started to realize, you know what? Just relax. Just relax. Quit trying to figure it out. Just relax. And when I did that, I started to understand that this is so vast. This takes the breadth and time that it needs. You cannot tell a story of not only a world in this window of time with this people walking the dust of it. This is the story of a world going backwards and forwards into infinitum. It is a story of a world not just on the physical plane, but on that spiritual plane of what we would hit our knees and pray to, and what type of agency do they have, and what are they trying to achieve? Not only the characters on the ground in this physical world. The scope of it is phenomenal. It's a world and a history told in its entirety. And if you fight against it and try to figure it out before it's ready to unfurl itself and just give itself to you, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be unhappy possibly. But if you just stop and realize what Steven Erikson has given you, sit still and watch it. And he will make sure everything goes in front of you. Everything is a shadow on the wall in a play that you can just watch and grab pieces of. And as you grab those pieces, it will all come together. But the breadth and scope of it are so huge, you can't encompass it all at one time. You've got to be patient. And when I kind of got that patience for it, then I started to see the beauty and the tragedy of The Chain of Dogs, and how that not only left a mark on Duker and these characters here that will live with me forever, rent-free in my soul, but it left a mark on me, and it had something to say about the human experience in my own world from watching this amazing shadow play of life and history of a world that Steven Erikson is laying out for me.
I would say I'm really excited to pick this up, but long, very long. And
very long. Don't know if this is your jam. Not sure.
Really? Okay.
Not sure. Just not sure.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let's see if number 5 is.
But before we do number 5.
Oh, man. I wanted to see number 5.
Let's thank some folks.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Always people to thank.
Always people to thank. These are our amazing correspondence directors, producers, our patrons on Patreon that make everything possible. Thanks so much to each and every one of you.
Thanks, everybody.
Just a quick break in the action to thank all of our correspondence directors and producers on Patreon. These people keep the lights on. They make decisions for us because we don't know what we're doing. We're not great at making the decisions around here. The decisions all the way from what I'm going to read next, what the book club of the month Patreon pick is going to be, but all the way up to video ideas and what we're going to do here on the channel coming up for you. If you're interested or you want to find out how you can be a part of this, right down there in the description box, click the Patreon link. It's got all the answers for you. And once again, thank you to all of these fine people that are helping us build the channel, our correspondence directors and producers.
Okay, now can I see number 5?
All right, now, no, this is where I'm going to break the rules.
What do you mean, no?
And I think you're going to be all for me here.
I don't think
you're going to be okay.
I wanted to see number 5.
I think you will, because look, here we do one indie read a month, right?
Uh-huh.
And I want to stop everything here and do a little indie spotlight of some of the indie books that took me places where I didn't even know what the heck and what in the wide world of sports is happening here. And they thrilled me. They gave me something new. And it's not that I'm saying they don't belong on this list. That's not that I'm saying they don't belong with these other reads. But in a way, they are completely different. These are people not picking up an advance from a publisher. These are people doing the hard work day after day of waking up, looking at themselves in the mirror and understanding if I don't do something creative, I'm not me. I'm lying to myself. They do something about, I'm going to put my own chips on the table to try and build an audience. So it is a little bit of a different movement, a little bit different feel. Boundaries can be pushed. Stories can be completely off the beam and different and strange and wonderful at the same time. So I wanted to just stop in the middle of this and highlight some indie reads that really just made me go, oh, wow, what did I just read?
Use the indie card against me to make me feel bad. Now I have to love it.
See, I told you. I told you you'd be with me.
But I do love it. I want to see it. Let's see it.
Okay. So, number 1, Toothsucker by Caden Love. Like, okay, what the heck did I just read? Some kind of strange noir cyberpunk corporations at all-out war, pharmaceutical corporations versus entertainment corporations, all using this agents of corporate espionage that are tooth-eating vampires. Like, what? And that's just the surface. That's just the surface. From there, it gets truly brutal and weird. But the one thing I can tell you is, if you want something entirely different, something you have not read before, something that has left me absolutely wanting to pick up book 2, I gotta go Toothsucker by Caden Love.
And if that sounds cool to you, you can pick it up at the link in the description.
Here's another one. Now, this one, kind of like Dead House Gates, made me uncomfortable.
Really? Okay.
Mercy Tears of the Fallen by Chance Dillon.
Yes, I remember this.
Now, he compares this to that video game you made me play one time.
Elden Ring. It's an amazing game. Yeah.
And it's compared to Malazan. You're going to be thrown into the deep end of not only a world, but this world of a cyclical apocalypse that's coming back around, and this long history of it. And what does it mean when civilization has to build itself back up? Do they remember things? Do they not remember things? Can they stave off this new apocalypse? Can our heroes we're traveling with become heroes? Because it's quite questionable if they can or not. There's so much going on here, and he takes no time to ease you into the story. You're just breathlessly trying to keep up. But what does absolutely grab you by the collar and won't let you go as you travel through this world is a new voice and a new world. And this is a debut, and there's that much going on, and you just keep wondering and asking yourself as you're turning pages, I can't wait to follow this storyteller down the road to see what he becomes and what this story and what this world becomes down the road. So it's thrilling in that way, not only from the story within the book, but the artist's journey outside of the book that you get to be part of here. What a debut. Really swinging for the fences here. And again, I don't think I got it all. Like, not a chance. But I absolutely do want to pick up.
You say?
Not a chance. But I absolutely do want to pick up book 2 when that comes out. And I think just like book 2 of Toothsucker, it's coming out pretty quickly.
Yeah, Ill is the Fate coming soon, as far as I understand it. By the way, if you do want to pick up Mercy Tears of the Fallen, there's a link for that in the description as well.
Now this one, you know how I am about my TBR. I'm not like you. I don't get pulled off with mood reading. I kind of stick to a schedule.
Yeah.
I plan. And when you read something and it's like, okay, I've got the next 2 books, and I don't care what my next 2 months plan is, I'm slotting those books in. You know it was a hit for me. And that's exactly what happened with Michael Crunk's trilogy. He brought out all 3 of these books at once, and I read the first one. I could not stop. I had to read the next 2 with the next 2 months, so you know how much I was enjoying it. This is book 3, A King in Waiting, which I think for me was the big, strongest one of the 3, because it just book by book, chapter by chapter, character moment by character moment, just built and layer upon layer of complexity and emotionality, got to a point where this book 3 just exploded for me and left me in a place where I had a resolution, I was satisfied, and at the same time cannot wait for this series to go on. This is kind of an urban fantasy feel, someone trying to become a detective and being pulled into this supernatural world. It's for fans of the Dresden Files and things like that. But it's not just Jason, but it's also the lovely Sylvana that he starts to fall for in book 1. It's kind of like a dual story of these 2 main characters and the world around them. And with each book and each moment, I say, it just gets deeper and deeper and richer until we build up to book 3 here. And like I say, I had to change my schedule when I picked up book 1. So hats off to you, Kronk, for making me change my schedule. A lot of fun here.
And if you want to pick up book 1 in that series, it is called Immortal Investigation. Link in the description for that.
And I know this next one, you're going to enjoy this pick.
Okay.
Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken.
I read this one too and loved it.
This is one of those books. Okay. Now, when I say indie can take you to places that you don't necessarily see on your shelves at your favorite bookstore, this is a weird Western. The main character is a bounty hunter that's also a necromancer, but that's just scratching the surface. As she goes through the journey of this book, you start to get deep into these themes of this shambling dead thing behind her is not only a shambling dead thing, which is, let's just face it, that's cool anyway, but it's also the baggage we carry, the guilt we carry, all the decisions from our past that maybe have stacked up and are pushing on us. It represents all those things. As everything I've read from Tori Tekken, it's layered with themes and things she wants to say about a psychological reality that we all live in this world, brought to light in a cool fantasy world that just takes us somewhere completely new and different. And as the bounty hunter moves from place to place and thing to thing that she has to do, and you meet some of her friends and you meet some of her enemies, and the world expands and you start to really piece together what everything's going on here, those themes are never very far under the surface, and they just make you stop and think after every chapter of what's actually going on, not just in the beats of the adventure here, but in the beats of these characters' soul. This is really about a character journey into the depths of that character's soul as she moves through this adventurous book.
Really, really loved this book. And part of the reason that I loved it is, as you kind of touched on, it's much, you kind of enter the book feeling like, okay, necromancy in a Western. I got it. This is going to be a cool genre blender kind of thing. Yes, but once you hit the halfway to 3/4 mark of this book, you start to realize, oh, this book is so much more about the characters interacting with each other, not only through sharing their traumatic experiences, but how trauma itself is cyclical. It can pass down through generations, and how people interact with each other changes what that trauma does to them as they move forward. It's
and how important does it become to a character to break that cycle?
Exactly. Yes. So it's really cool the way that she told that story through emotion and character, and such a great book. Really enjoyed it. And if you want that, there's a link down in the description for that one as well.
I got one more because, I cannot leave off the good doctor, Dr. Philip Chase, While Darkness Gathers. This is a sequel to the Way of a Dan trilogy, takes place a little bit after that. I would not say this is a jumping on point, though. You definitely want to do that trilogy first because of the emotionality of the characters that grows. This is someone that reveres Tolkien. This is someone that studied Tolkien. This is an actual PhD, a medievalist. So this rings so true. The lore is there. Every step you take on this journey and quest from the trilogy up to this one has breadth and scope, and it just, the tendrils furl out from those steps across the whole world to make it feel real and concrete. But at the same time, there's some modern storytelling sensibilities here. And as we get to this new addition to the story, that even comes to the fore a little bit more. As you can tell, it's a little bit thinner. So the pace is ratcheted up here. It's almost like this new generation of characters is coming onto our stage here in Adan. And as the smoke clears and the dust settles from what happened in the Way of Adan, this new generation is coming on, and they move at a different speed. They feel differently about the world that has changed before they got here, or under their feet in some certain stances. And the pace of the story, the storytelling structure is different because these characters are different and it's a different time. And it was quite a wonderful thing to watch an artist stretch themselves and do something a little bit different. Not only move forward with characters and move forward with their world, but move forward in their art as well. Tell that story a little bit differently. And to great effect. They took big swings in the first trilogy that ended up with me having, by the end of that trilogy, I'm just going to say I had that single Denzel tear. It got to me.
A single Denzel tear. It was my understanding that there was more than one.
Book 2 and Book 3 got to me. I'm going to say that. Book 2 and Book 3 got to me. This one did as well. So even though he tried a little bit of a different structure, a little bit of different pace, a little bit different way of telling the story, the emotionality is still there. The character journey is still there. The buildup is still there. You traveling with them in their shoes every step of the way is still there. You get to see some familiar faces you can't wait to see. You get to meet some new characters, and the blending of these two hits you straight in the heart. I'm going to say it got to me again. It got to me again.
You add that number 3 single Denzel tier.
I got to be honest, yeah.
So obviously that is not the starting place for the Way of a Dan series. If you want to start, you can pick up The Way of a Dan, which is book 1 down in the description.
There you go. And I just want to have a little bit of a spotlight for some indie reads because, again, I'm not saying they don't belong with these other reads to be in any kind of top of the year list, but they do deserve something a little bit different because it is such a different movement in a different world because of the way it works, and they're their own personal, not only writer, but publisher and marketer and everything else. So these are some that just really, really made me question what I was reading, question what was in my hands, and blew my hair back.
Completely agree. Now, you have to show me number 5. It's been long enough. I have waited too long. I need to see what your number 5 is.
Book 5 is Jade War by Fonda Lee.
Okay, I'm picking this up. I know I am.
You are going to love this. You have to pick this up this year. You will love this trilogy.
Okay.
The layers of this trilogy. You have the family drama like you're watching this amazing Arthur Miller play in front of you. You have the everything gets ratcheted up because this is a crime family. So the pressures of that to fit in. How do you have your own individuality in that? What does the family expect of you? What do you have to do to keep this family going? And not only the family, but the country around you is very much run by these crime families and these syndicates that have a part in not only the day-to-day government, but in the neighborhood and things like that. So it's like the pressures are extreme. Even if you try to get away and you feel like you can't go home again, you're going to get pulled back. And as you get pulled back, how do you keep yourself safe from that? How do you keep yourself from falling into these traps? How do you keep yourself, these characters that are pulled back in, some are cast back out in this, and not only those layers, but this one gets even deeper with the socioeconomic battle of what's going on with this magical jade. There's a whole other layer of this magic system that's brought to this family drama and this crime drama is the power of jade that gives these families, these crime families, these long powers, right? These long, amazing powers. So in this one, we get these families are going to decide the countries around who should have this, who should not. And so you have a social economic battle going on of what country can have this type of power. It sounds convoluted and too much to be mashed into one trilogy, and yet somehow she weaves it all together and makes it work so beautifully. It's like you couldn't take any of these legs away from this stool or the whole thing would topple. It just sounds like there's too much going on and there's no way it can work. But at the same time, if you took any of it away, it wouldn't work as well as it does. And there's moments where the pressures of the magic system, the pressures of the family, the pressures of what you have to do for family and country push on these characters until they have these flare-ups, these amazing moments of drama, oftentimes in a violent way, that give you these set-piece moments, but they're always, always centered around that character that's been just pushed and pushed and pushed and forced into a situation where they have to make a choice that you would never think that character is possible of making, but they do make it because they see no other way out because of what's expected of them. It's so dramatic. It works so well. I cannot wait to finish this trilogy.
It does sound like there is way too much going on in that series, but I'm scratching the surface.
Like there's so much more that I could talk about. Yeah.
The only reason I believe that Fonda Lee can pull it off is that I trust your review. And I mean, obviously Fonda Lee's a genius, everybody knows, but I can't wait to pick that one up.
As I read them, I'm stunned, like, how is she making this work? And she just, and it just does. It just does. So yeah, hats off to Fonda Lee. Number 4.
Okay. Show me number 4.
You know one of these was going to have to be here.
What is it?
It is Disquiet Gods by Christopher
course.
Rocchio.
Absolutely. How did I not know?
We read so much Sun Eater this year.
Yeah.
Wrapped up the series this year, and I think, catch me on a different day, I may say something else, but Disquiet Gods is, I think, my favorite of the series. It's everything you want a penultimate book in a long series to be. It raises all of the stakes. It brings, as every book in the series does, new realities to our setting and our world and our character as they go through this long journey. Hadrian Marlowe is put through the ringer here, and he has several different realities within this book as all the pieces are moved and maneuvered on this board to make things set and ready for the final book. And as these pieces are maneuvered and moved around, there's surprises, there's changes in the character, there's new realities for the character that you think you knew so well to react to and become somebody entirely different because of. There's huge lore drops of things that you'd always wanted to get more light shed on and have more understanding. Get that moment in the sun to where you're just, oh, I see it now. It's got those types of moments that all the things you need before the climactic battle that you know waiting just around the corner plays out in front of you. This penultimate volume gives to you perfectly. And so many surprises you didn't know you wanted, but once you saw them, it's like, I would have had to have that for the end to work.
Completely agree. It is maybe even not maybe. Actually, it's the perfect penultimate book, I think.
I don't think I've seen it done better. I mean, I think it's my favorite of the series. I really do.
Yeah, not my favorite of the series, but I completely see why it is yours. It's an amazing, amazing book. Top 3. How are you feeling? Do you want to change your list? Now's the time.
Oh, I don't think I can change my list.
Because it's too late or because you feel so strongly?
You know what? I'm looking at these 3. There's no way. There's no way I can change this list.
Pull out number 3. Let's see it.
All right. Number 3 is An Autumn War by Daniel Abraham, book 3 of the Long Price Quartet. Wow, did this series blow me away. This is not talked about enough. This should be everybody's. I mean, everyone's different. I get that. But this should be talked about so much more of people's favorite series. There's oftentimes in epic fantasy where, we're just leading up to one duel or one battle after another. And I can start to get battle fatigue in that way. This never loses sight of that interpersonal drama between just 2 characters. The drama crackles, but oftentimes it crackles just from 2 people talking to each other. And it's so magical. This whole thing starts with 2 young schoolboys, and it moves through their life as they become more and more important to their world. And this world is at a turning point, one of its most tumultuous points of its entire history. And these 2 boys will be at the crux of every step of the way of that happening. And not only will we get to see the amazing character arcs of these 2 characters and those around them as they're in the room where it happens, where these big decisions that have huge fallout for this world happen, we also see an arc for this entire world. This entire world will be changed by the end of this series. Everything you know about this reality is going to be shattered and put back together again because of what happens. And these 2 men are at the very center of all of it. Mati and Ota, they're right there at the center of it. And you get to walk in their shoes and see all of the triumph and tragedy. The world, the magic system is such an amazing, beautiful, I don't even want to talk about it. I just want you to go in blind and see the mysticism and the magic system is so beautiful. It has so much to say and is so entirely frightening and scary at the same time. My favorite, as I say, my pick here is Autumn War, which is book 3. It is the best book I've ever read that deals with the cost of magic. What would it mean if we had this power? What would we use it for? And what we use it for, what would it cost to the world around us and to our own humanity for having it, for having our hands in it and using it. There would be a cost, and what would it be? This book, in the most earth-shattering, tragic way, treads that ground better than I've ever seen it tread before, and I just absolutely thought it built up to this point and blew away all my expectations. Very much book 4 is just kind of the dust settling after that. Book 3 is that high point of everything building and coming to a head. But wow, just the series as a whole, what an amazing high point of the year for me.
Now, I do think I want to pick this one up at some point this year.
I think you would love this series.
I think I would. I mean, mostly because you've told me how many times. I know.
This is all 4 books.
Yeah.
So the compression, this is one of those books.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one epic fantasy most of the time. This is all 4. So the compression that Daniel Abraham can pull off and put together, there's so much packed in there that I don't know how he does it. It's unbelievable.
But I think any book that affects you as much as that one did, I really feel a pull to read it. And any book that when you, me, and Mom are writing together, that you bring up as an example to follow as often as you do that one, is okay, I got to read that.
I would definitely say that's one for you. How many do you have written down now that you got to get to?
I've got 4.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I mean, Wars of Light and Shadow I already planned to get to, but
Yeah. Okay, number 2. Here we go. Mystic River by Dennis Lehane.
Oh, I forgot about this one. This
is off the beaten path again a little bit, but wow. This was a Quilluminati read. And me and Dr. Chase and Mike and Brian all read this together. And this is just the poetry of the language, the beauty of the language in this brutal, tragic reality. This is so evocative of this place, South Boston, and what it means to grow up there, and the kind of people that live there, and the cyclical nature of this type of tragedy there. And you get to know these characters, and you get to know them as they're living through indescribable loss and tragedy, and what does that do to them, and how do they react, and how do they move forward, and how will they exact their vengeance, and how will that bring up their true selves that they've maybe pushed down way too long. You would not think the pairing of the beautiful poetry of life and the most gut-wrenching tragic moments could operate together like this to bring something truly magic. But it does. It's a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a procedural that you get to go along on, but that's not really the story. The real story is these characters and the pressure they're put under because of this tragedy that has befallen them, and in spiraling out of control, what will they do to come back up, and how will they be changed? And it's just it's not for everyone. When I say gut-wrenching, I mean absolutely gut-wrenching. It is as dark as you could imagine a lot of the time. This goes nowhere good and then lingers there. But if you're game for it, if you want something like that, if you want a Shakespearean tragedy played out in South Boston, I can't think of anything that would do better for you than Mystic River.
And I believe it was Mike's book of the year. I
think it was.
Yeah. Was there a Brian pick for Quilluminati?
I think it was Brian's pick.
Well done,
Brian did very well.
Now show me your number 1. I already know what it is, but
I was just going to say, I bet you know what my number 1 is. And my number 1 is going to be Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry.
Of course. Yeah. Now you say this list is unranked, but I assume this is also your book of the year.
These are just all my favorite reads of the year. And I mean, yes, I'm not going to say, this was so special to me on a personal level.
Yeah.
This is everything you want from a story. When you think about, I want to pick up a book and I want to take a journey, and I want to take a journey in characters' shoes that can make me laugh, that can make me cry, that can teach me a little bit of something about myself and my world, as well as enlighten me to their world. This is something that is done by a complete master. He takes the tools of prose and pace and uses it to meld character and setting as well. Like the pace, these characters will not be rushed. So sometimes the pace seems like it's meandering or not being driven forward by the plot. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's the character's reality. That's the sensibilities of this time and place and these men within it. But then it will be overcome by frenetic moments of tragedy and violence. And that's the way life is, especially the life in this reality. It's a story of people, again, feeling like the civilization that they made this part of Texas safe to live in from their time as Texas Rangers. They're feeling that it's now closing in on them, and they want to see what's the wild country one more time. Do they still have enough in them to tame that wild country one more time? They want to challenge themselves in a way. So they're pushed on this cattle drive from Texas to Montana. But that's not the story. That's not the story. This journey is not the story. The story is life and what it means. Every bit of its joy and beauty and mystery and love and friendship and fathers and sons and all of it, as well as death and how to deal with that. It's everything. It's a life experience. And I put off reading it for so long because I knew that my father was equal parts Woodrow Call and Gus McCrae, and it was going to hit me in a very, very personal way. And it absolutely did. It absolutely showed me that art can exist outside time, and it can be that time machine. It can be that window. I always thought I had lost that window to understand some of the things that my father wanted to teach me and make sure I understand about the world he grew up in. This story meant a great deal to him. He wanted to share it with me, and I never took the time to do that with him when I had the chance. And I thought that window had closed. But now reading this and going on this journey with Gus and Call, I got to have that time back. I got to understand him a little bit more. I got to understand art can lift us from our reality and take us back or move us forward in time and show us something and enlighten us a little bit and make sure that we understand through artistic expression and story, that window is never closed. The opportunity is still there. And I put off doing it for so long because I knew it would be very emotional, and it was. And that is why it is one of the most special reads for me, not only this year, but I think in a long, long, long time. So just, I can't recommend this enough. You may think you don't like Westerns, not my bag, not my kind of story, not what I'm drawn to. And that's very much how I felt when my father wanted to share this with me. But it transcends that. It's not just that. It's not just the story of a cattle drive from Texas to Montana. It's a story of everything that we equivocate life and the human experience of being. How do you live? How do you die? How do you fill your time between? How do you make sure you slow down and understand the beauty and the joy in those moments that are given to you? And what do you stand for, and what is your code, and where will you draw a line when it comes time to do that? And what will you leave behind? What you stand for is what you'll leave behind. All these kind of things that are at our core some of the most important things that we can fill our time with here. That's what this book is. That's what this is about in all of its grandeur. So don't think that, oh, a Western's not really my thing. It's beyond that.
And art exists outside of time is a quote for the year. That's a great quote. I mean, that one's going on my list. It was already on my list, but after seeing how it affected you once again, I got to read that book. And like you said about having conversations with your father that you thought you had already lost the window to have. I didn't really get to truly meet him. I have like vague visions of remembering seeing him as a very young kid, but I don't remember having conversations with him. Maybe he was not old enough to have real conversations with him by that point. So it'll be really cool to pick up that book and in some form get to meet him. That'll be really special.
That would make me extremely happy.
Yeah.
For you to do that. And I would absolutely take the time as you go through it to let you know each and every moment that was.
Oh, I would love that. That's really cool. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gee, man, what a list.
It was quite the amazing year here.
And I feel like it's all because of BookTube. Because that was a book that I don't even think you really planned on picking up because you knew how much it would affect you. You kind of avoided it.
I would not have picked it. There's so many books here I would not have picked up if not for the amazing friends and the amazing people that we get to share stories with and read with here on BookTube. Not just other booktubers, but I mean just amazing people that recommend things to us all the time and send things to us. I mean, I know I believe Heidi sent me Glorious Exploits. As I'm looking through here, just a year filled with amazing stories because of the people we've met.
All because of you. What all did you read this year? What were your favorites?
Yeah. Did you read something that is a series that you just can't believe isn't talked about more? Did you jump on board something that everyone's talked about and you're coming late to the party? Did you go off the beaten path for something that you don't normally read, but someone knew you would love because of your background and sent it to you? Thank you, Heidi. Did you finally pick up something that is a huge life lesson and shows you what art and story can really do at its most magical? What was your year like? Let us know. Hit us up in comments. Tell us what some of your favorite reads of the year were. We're going to answer each and every comment as quickly as we possibly can. It's the whole reason we started this channel, was to talk books and stories with people that love books and stories the way we do. Hey, hit that thumbs up button. That helps us meet new people. And all the new people we meet, that means we get new stories recommended to us. That means we get new interpretations of these stories. Everyone is such a beautiful individual out there. These interpretations are going to be so completely different. And every new interpretation, every new take on these stories that comes along on this ride with us, that just makes us all a little bit richer and wiser. And that's what we're all about. And if you haven't hit the subscription button yet, maybe it's your first time around here, you haven't hit the subscription button yet, you haven't joined this group of people that just loves to hang out and talk about story and art and what it does to us and how it changes us, how it changes the way we see the world, how it reminds us that our past is not really our past. It's just maybe buried a little bit deeper, but it's who we really are and where we came from. You know, those kind of things. That subscription button, that's you're one click away from joining that group and being a part. And when you do join it, and when you are a part, when you'll be sitting at the end of a year looking back over the reads you've had because of those people you've traveled with, you hit that button, you get a tingle. You're going to feel a tingle right down to your toes. That's just scientific fact.
I am contractually obligated to agree with you. In fact, it's so real, you should be afraid of it. It does really horrible things to your body. It's not good for you.
There are side effects.
Do you want to name them? What are the side effects?
There are side effects. You understand story is magic. You understand
These aren't
humanity a
scary
little
side
bit better.
Effects at all.
Some people could be scared of them. I could go on. The tingle is real.
It just turns into a conspiracy theory.
Oh, I can't wait. You and Mom are going to do your list next.
Yes, coming out I think next week. I'm doing a top 5. She's doing a top 5. Collectively, we will have 10.
So you better get your list ready.
Yeah, I don't have it ready. I think I read a little over 10 books this year, so it shouldn't be that hard to do.
It'll be your turn on the hot seat.
I am excited, ready for it.
If you're still here, you're book people, and in our book, that makes you the best people. Thanks so much for joining us here on Talking Story.